Hi there, listener. You're about to experience TADPOG. Tyler and Dave play old games, and there will be plenty of game talk, but also copious amounts of crude, off-color, offensive, and immature speech. So if you are of a rather sensitive humor constitution, we're just letting you know what you're in for with this show. It has games. It has jokes. You know, just games and jokes. Take the games, take the jokes, and have a good time.
Hello, Internet, and welcome to another TADPOG podcast. It's a show that happens twice a week on Mondays and on Wednesdays, where two old guys and one, for like one more year, rather young lady. And then you'll be one, pretty young lady.
I'm turning 21. What are you talking about?
Yeah, you're getting married. I remember I was there when you turned 21. Talk about old games or interesting games or whatever, because it's Monday. So it's other shit. Any other shit that is not IGN's Top 100 Super Nintendo games. So this week, we are diving back into 5-star requests. So eventually has come again. This week, we're going to talk about the 5-star request of, I don't remember his handle, but Lord Mike of Purdue has been requesting forever that we play Limbo. He asked for a year, he asked us to play Limbo, just straight up asking us. He were like, leave a 5-star review. But I hate Apple products, leave a 5-star review. I don't have anything that has iTunes on it. Well, sorry, I guess we're never going to do Limbo, leave a 5-star review. So he finally lifted his embargo, downloaded iTunes, made his account, 5-star review, got rid of it all.
It's a big deal for him.
So Merry Christmas, Lord Mike. We're going to talk about Limbo. But first, I'm your bearded host, Tyler. And since we're talking about Limbo, I was trying to think about what stories to tell. And I've asked Meg, what do you need to talk about? She's like, well, what were your beliefs on Purgatory when you were a kid? I was like, well, they weren't. I was taught that Purgatory was like a creation of the devil to distract you from heaven. So I figured I would talk about... Not too specifically, but just growing up and what I was taught about hell and purgatory and all things of that nature.
We're going to delve into real deep theology for the next 20 minutes.
But, I grew up, first we're going to directly said they were Southern Baptist. And then we left that church and went to a church that said they were non-denominational, but they were really Southern Baptist.
Covert.
Because any church around Kentucky that says they're non-denominational, they are Southern Baptist with just slightly different terminology for everything.
Is that right?
Yeah. Oh, 100%.
Yeah, okay.
I was like, we let everybody come here. I'm sure you do. And then they just say they're Southern Baptist. It's fine. It's all the same stuff. But then that's the thing about all sorts of religions over here is that, or every religion I'd heard of growing up, it was all about hell. There was very little talk about love and trust and helping other people. It was all about hell. Constant fire and brimstone. Even in children's church when I was little, every service was in there was just you got to do this, you're going to hell. Do this, you're going to hell. You better not do that, you'll go to hell. Everything's a sin. Everything's going to hell. You're going to hell. You're awful. You're a piece of shit. You're going to hell. And then, of course, at every service, there's always the big altar call where it's anybody who doesn't want to go to hell, come forward and get saved. So I remember, because that was the big thing in the religion when I was growing up, was you pray to Jesus to come into your heart and he saves you. And that is the only thing that keeps you out of hell. You saying that prayer. There's no baptism doesn't work, being a good person doesn't work, being any other religion that doesn't specifically say those words, you're going to hell. So
pretty lenient.
Yeah, of course. So that was always the thing. In my high school, I think I talked about the Church of Christ kids and the Southern Baptist kids would always get in arguments. It was fucking Jets and the Sharks, but the line was drawn at baptism for them arguing back and forth, pushing matches in the cafeteria, all shit like that. There was an Episcopal church in Marshall County. I had never heard of it. I didn't know what this religion was, anything about this denomination, until I had one friend who, my sophomore year, told me she was. I didn't know what that was. She couldn't really even explain what she was. She's like, well, I was confirmed. It's like they took attendance. I don't understand what you mean by you were confirmed.
I don't know what that means either.
So
So,
we put on robes and were you in the choir? I don't. Why would you put on a robe?
play D&D. We LARPed.
We had classes like Sunday school. No. Like Awanas. No. We drank the wine. You drank wine. That means you're going to hell.
You guys dressed up as wizards, all got drunk and got your associate degrees?
Church. And like that mentality, of course, not until like I went off to college did anything sort of break that conservative shell that I was raised in. Mm-hmm. And of course, I met Meg, and said she was Episcopalian. I was like, oh, I know what that is. And
I know what you guys are all about.
Yeah. And like she explains it to me, which it's more of what I now think religion should have been like when I was growing up. Mm-hmm. It's less like, very rarely do they talk about like hell or damnation. It's more about like the positive side of religion, which I enjoy and I support, that should be taught, as opposed to just do whatever the fuck you can to stay out of hell. That's your only goal in life, is to stay out of hell. But I was like, well, are you saved? And she's like, what are you talking about? Because like that's not how they do it there. So then I was like, oh no, she's going to hell. So I tell my mom about it. My mom is like, oh, Tyler, I don't know. I don't know. I don't think that's a real religion. I don't think, like I don't know if you need to date her. She's going to hell. I don't know what part of it is. Like,
God,
if it's like a cult. Like,
oh my God.
Because my mom has no clue either.
Clearly.
So I remember like one night being in my room, and I'm like, Meg, I'm really worried. I'm like upset. Like, I'm worried you're going to hell. She's like, what are you talking about? I was like, I mean, have you ever prayed and said that prayer? She's like, well, I mean, not exactly in those so many words. Like, it's not like there's like a sentence you have to say and boom, you go to heaven. I'm like, I don't know. I think that's how it works. And it took like, after that conversation, then I kind of understood. It still took my mom like 3 or 4 more years to come on board.
She came around though.
She finally came around.
That's great.
So whenever it's like, by then, but she understood like just in time for Meg to become a priest. Because it would have been a whole other thing if she didn't know what it was. Then like, oh, this girl is a priest. I've watched like a priestess in some cult. There you go. Hell.
What's up, internet? Man, fuck. What a weird... Well, I don't even know where to go with this.
You were raised Catholic.
Well, I mean, we can get into that if you want. I'm your bespectacled host, Dave, and I was kind of raised Catholic. My mom's Catholic. My dad's Baptist. I don't know how that worked. It really kind of didn't work. I mean, their marriage is still intact, but religion is one of those things where it's like, it's always kind of been a point of contention where it's like, can't this, like when I was younger, it was like, well, we're going to go to a Baptist church on alternating Sundays, and then we'll go to a Catholic church. So it was always like really, really weird, and I hated going to church. It was just an awful experience because they are so wildly different. Like I remember the day where I decided that Baptist church wasn't for me. And it's, to be fair, Southern Baptist Church specifically, because my Uncle Larry died unexpectedly, and we went to his funeral in a small church in a small town of So, Mississippi. I may have mentioned it on the show before. Like the population is smaller than my graduating class. And
so like Nicole's graduating class.
Yeah.
What was the size of your graduating class?
30.
Oh yeah, there were more than 30, but I think it was, but not much.
So basically, you were in my hometown.
So I remember going there, and I was like 14, I think, and it was a funeral, and the whole fucking time, the entire time, it was just all about hell. And I remember like being like super stressed out and like anxious because it was like. Not like it was like at the very end. It was like a 30-minute address about hell and then 5 minutes about my uncle, and it was just like, all right. And then I remember being a pallbearer, and I remember it was fucked up because like I remember carrying the casket out, and I was crying because I was more fucking scared than it was that I was. I mean, I was fucking sad that he was gone, but it was just like I remember after that being so angry because I felt like I was robbed of like my grieving because like I wasn't able to grieve because I was just so fucking scared. And then, so like that's my experience with Southern Baptist.
Like, Dave, don't drop that casket, otherwise he falls straight into hell.
Well, what's the point? We're all going there anyway, clearly. But my Catholic experience was actually a whole lot better. Except I went to a Catholic school for a year. And that was, I mean, it wasn't horrible. You hear
all the things you hear about.
Yeah, I mean, you hear horror stories about it, and it wasn't like that bad. Like it wasn't abusive. They weren't abusive or anything like that. But it did feel like it was just weird after going to like a public school for years. It was just weird to go to a school where it was like, all right, we're going to teach you things, and like then we're going to go to church for an hour. And it was like kind of like every day we would like do the school thing, and then we would go to, I can't remember what they called it, but there would be service, and I mean that was fine. I guess I just kind of got like, I don't know. Every time I was there, I was like, man, can we go back to like learning stuff? Because I like that part a lot. I'm trying to think of, have I ever told the story about the Mormon girl that I dated?
The one you
in high
finger
school?
bang in the garage?
No, she wasn't Mormon. She was just prudish.
Oh, then no.
No, the Mormon girl was not prudish at all. She was down, but the problem was that I wasn't Mormon. So I remember going, like we used to go out on dates all the time and had a really good time. She was really cool. I liked her a lot. Was totally happy with the relationship. I mean, it wasn't sexual at all, but none of my relationships in high school really were, so it really didn't fucking matter. And she was probably like the most attractive, so I was like, all right, we're doing pretty good. And then I remember she invited me out to her church a few times, and I went, and that was interesting. It was different for me because it was like we would go on Sunday, and it would be like a 3-hour ordeal. And I remember that just being like, man, I don't want to do this every Sunday. Like this is like a lot. This is a lot of worship, like just straight up a lot of worship. And then, so I did that a couple Sundays, and I remember going on a date with her one time. I think we actually went out to like Patty's or something like that and had pork chops. And I'm saying that specifically because I saw Exalted Lord Mike of Purdue post in the Facebook group earlier today about Patty's. I remember going there and then coming back to her house, and I walked her to the door and we kissed, and out of the blue, she was like, I want to marry you. And I was like, what? And I was like,
What she meant is she wants to fuck you. But she knows the only way she can do it.
And I was like, what do you mean? She's like, well, I want to marry you. I want to spend the rest of my life with you. But I need you to convert in order for that to happen.
Was her last name Duggar? God, tell me it was Duggar.
No, and I'm missing the reference completely. And it was just completely out of the blue. It was just so like hey, I know you just wanted a kiss, but here's 2 fucking things that are gonna fuck with your head on the ride home. We essentially broke up on the porch there because it was just like, no. I mean, I'm not, no. I'm 15 years old. I don't think that I want to make 2 major life decisions right now. But I mean, to be fair, if she'd have been like, if you say yes to both these things, we're gonna fuck right now, I probably would be a Mormon, and I would be like, I'd have like 8 kids right now. They'd all be screaming in the background as we recorded this. So I don't know. That's kind of an intro story, I guess.
That's
just a little insight, maybe. What's up, Nicole?
Hi. You can edit that out.
Nah.
I'll just make a mix of them at the end.
Oh no, that's terrible.
Here's all of Nicole's coughs.
Oh. Hey,
Hey, do you have any religious stories, Nicole of Kirby fame?
no, I don't. I mean, I don't have any religious stories per se.
You had a religious family, right?
I did. I went to a Christian church until I was in high school. Whenever I met Josh, he did not know what a Christian church was. He was like, "But so you're a Christian?" I'm like, "Yes, I go to a Christian church." "So you go to a Baptist church?" "No."
That's the only kind of Christians there are.
So, yeah, I went to a Christian church until I was in high school, which was much more laid back than the Baptist church. Much happier.
I just about everything. I can't speak for every Southern Baptist church, but every Southern Baptist church or Baptist church I've personally ever been to. So extrapolating on that 100%.
Yeah. And then whenever I got to high school, I started dating my high school boyfriend. And so I started going to the Baptist church that he went to, that I continued to go to until I went to college, at which time I decided that religion was not for me.
I thought you made the decision way before college.
I think that I had subconsciously made the decision a long time, like before, but, social constraints and pressures and whatnot. I think that this is the right thing to do because everybody says it's the right thing to do until you get to the point where...
And they could be wrong.
Right. Whenever I decided that religion was not for me, it was probably one of the best decisions I've ever made. I've never been so happy since.
Well, see, I sound like I'm very anti-religion at this point. Although I'm not. I'm still a Christian. I just Southern Baptist Church really burnt me out on organized religion just in general.
No, and I honestly, I don't think that being a Christian, it goes hand in hand with believing that religion is good. Yeah. I mean, I'm not a Christian. I believe that religion is good. I think it provides something that we all need as people.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
I think some religion provides that. Some religion provides extreme stress.
Well, and I mean, there's a lot of cultural significance too. I mean, religion is needed, and it's just one of those things where I feel like that's one of those things where it's like for some people and it's not for other people.
I recall a friend of mine, we'll call him Alistair. Alistair, he had his girlfriend and another friend of his went to the local Church of Christ, and Alistair didn't go to church at all. He was religious, but he just didn't go to church. And they really wanted him to go. And one of the friends said, "Hey, we're having a huge pizza party. We're getting 100 pizzas. Everybody's coming over. It's going to be a big backyard cookout thing. It's going to be great. I want you to go with us." And he's like, "Okay, cool. Free pizza. That sounds great." So they get there and he sees the free pizza and stuff in the lawn across the parking lot. And as they're walking over there, he's like, "Oh, before we have to go over there, we have to go in here first." And in the other part of the parking lot, they've set up this shitty looking trailer. And it has 2 doors. And it's well, first we have to go through here. And I was just
oh no.
What?
Oh my God.
I didn't mention this before, but no, it'll just be quick. And then so they go in there, and as soon as they open the door, Alistair told me that there was this just super decrepitly old man sitting there in a chair holding a Bible just looking at him. And then Alistair's girlfriend is also in there. So then his friend goes over there and stands by his girlfriend. And they're like, "Alistair, we're both just here to tell you that we're very worried about your eternal soul." And the old man gets up and just looks in his eye and gives him this huge diatribe before Alistair just he takes it and then just nods and walks out the door and goes home. He's "I don't care about the pizza. I don't care about this trap you laid for me.
Yeah.
No thanks."
Yeah, that's a little deceitful. I could see and it sucks because I know we're going to talk about Limbo, but
this is a good building point to this game. Believe it or not, I think we're doing good build up.
But what sucks is it's that probably altered his decisions. I mean, something
he is now an atheist.
I mean, something like that happens, and it's well, I mean, clearly that sounds mean spirited and deceitful, and I mean, I can understand someone not wanting to be associated with that. So I mean, that just sucks. I mean, that sounds like a failing.
While we're talking about it, something I didn't realize that not everybody in the country or with all religions experienced until I saw a Netflix documentary about it is Hell House. Did you guys go to a Hell House?
Oh, yeah.
And
Sure.
that, I feel like that's one of the things.
Judgment House is what it was called around
Yes.
here.
Oh, it's just that's one of the things I think that contributed to my rejection of religion because, I mean, it's so awful.
I've been to those so many times.
For anyone living in a normal part of the country, they might not know what a Hell House or Judgment House is. So it is something that happens around Halloween, usually. At least Judgment House here in Paducah was.
It's the Christian alternative to a haunted house.
Right. And it's a haunted house, but it's hell. It's hell in a haunted house.
One of the rooms is hell.
Right. Essentially, you go in and you see different parts of a play as you progress through, and you see at the beginning someone making Christian decisions and someone making unchristian decisions.
Yeah, it's different. A different actor in every room, but the characters are designated by having a color shirt. So every person in the blue shirt throughout the whole thing is the Mark character, or so whatever as you progress through.
It's a real goof a single lot.
And essentially, after they make their Christian or unchristian decisions, something terrible happens to them and they die. They get in a car accident, there is a fire, etc., and they die. And then you progress to see the person who made the Christian decisions has gone to heaven, and the person who's made the unchristian decisions has gone to hell. And it's the worst thing. It's so terrible.
You have to sit in the hell room, which is usually like pitch black, and they crank the heat up to like 95 degrees.
Yeah. Here's the great thing about the hell room is that's where everybody touched boobs. Because it's like, we're going through here and the lights are completely off. All right, guess it's time to touch some boobs. So it's like completely counterproductive because it's just like, here's hell. Not too bad. not too bad at all. It's fine.
And it's really awful. Like they're so graphic. Like their hell portrayal. Like they have someone yelling at you who's supposed to be the devil, and you see people being tortured. And it's terrible.
I really like
the heaven room is basically like Mount Olympus because it's just like men and people in togas and Jesus gives you a hug. There's
I forgot that.
I forgot about that too. I remember feeling extremely uncomfortable.
Jesus gives you they must have like had a bunch of people line up like which hug is the best hug that you've had, because he gives a very practiced, very firm and confident hug to every single person.
Yeah. You can almost like under his breath hear him counting for 3.
I know I had the judgment room where you see God. He's behind a big curtain and he calls out everybody's name. So you have to like write down your name for your group as you go in. So then, Tyler, will your name be written in the book of life? Or will you go to hell? And like the door to hell opens and then you have to go in there.
Tyler, I saw you touch a boob in that room.
Because what was it? One year they said last names, and I went with Brandon of Axelay fame and Mario Kart fame. And his name...
What, you used his last name, is that what you're saying?
I went with him and they said our first and last names. Okay. But like we didn't write them out phonetically or anything. So like God's like, Brandon A of S. Like kind of, nope, this message is not hitting home tonight.
Every time that happens, I think in Judgment House there's a trap door that opens and that kid just disappears forever. Because they're just like behind the scenes, they're like, God's infallible. Kill this kid.
It's like Dogma all over again. It's gonna raffle. All right, so Limbo. Because Limbo, what we assume. Well, do you have anything pulled up? Do you hear that, Dave?
Hear what? Do I hear the
David?
Do I hear the awkward ass segue? Yeah, dude. You have it.
Maore.
What episode is this, by the way? This is like a 170 or something like that. You got anything pulled up? What the fuck is that?
Well, yeah, I mean, usually you're holding it up in front of you, so I thought maybe like we got to talk about religion, you forgot.
No, I do. I hear that. I hear
you just
that.
say everybody's name's really loud while you look it up.
What is that a god? Is that a god train? Is that a band?
Read from the tablet of life.
It's God Train's a band, right?
It's gotta be. Godsmack is a band, so God Train's gotta be a band.
Train was a band, right? And then they failed and they became a Christian band. And not to say that all bands who fail become Christian bands, but let's face it, some of them do.
God, I hate Train. Oh my God, I hate Train.
I do hear that God Train. And it's leaving the Dave Reads some Wikipedia station.
How can you have an opinion about Train? You don't like music.
I know what's
bad.
Yeah. Most of what I listen to is bad. And Train I won't even listen to. So then I know it's really bad.
Nicole, you're making some really
Drops of Jupiter is the worst song I've ever heard.
Feels like it looks like you have something to say, Nicole. Are you a big Train fan?
I want you to pull down your shirt and you said like a train clavicle tattoo that I just happen to never seen before.
I have nothing to say.
I think you do. Let's get into this Train debate.
No, people have different tastes in music. It's fine.
You all right?
I like
number one Train fan.
I like shitty TV. Maybe I like shitty music too.
Hey, we all like a little shitty something. Okay, guys. Limbo, stylized as Limbo, it's all caps, is a puzzle platform video game. The first title by independent Danish game developer Playdead. The game was released, disqualifies as an old game, in July 2010 as a platform exclusive title on Xbox Live Arcade. and then was later re-released as part of a retail game pack along with Trials HD and Splosion Man in April 2011. As usually happens, it came out pretty much for everything. Ports of the game came out on PlayStation 3, Microsoft Windows, were released after the year-long exclusivity period with Xbox 360. There's an OS X version. There's a Linux port. This thing's on Vita and iOS. There's an Xbox One port. So pretty much, if you want to play Limbo and you have some kind of computer machine, you can play the game. It's a 2D side-scroller that incorporates the physics system Box 2D to govern environmental objects and the player character. The player guides an unnamed boy through dangerous environments and traps as he searches for his sister. The developer built the game's puzzles expecting the player to fail before finding the correct solution. They called the style Trial and Death and used gruesome imagery for the boys' deaths to steer the player from unworkable solutions. I feel like I might be stepping on some things we're going to talk about, so I'll stop right there.
I really enjoy this game. This is the only game that I would describe as a cinematic platformer that I do thoroughly enjoy. All the other cinematic platformers, which have been earlier on this list, I did not enjoy at all. But Limbo, I think is fantastic.
I really liked Limbo. I played it I remember I played it day one when it came up on Xbox 360, and I really, really liked the game. I still really like it, but I think that it doesn't hold up. It didn't hold up as well for me on a second playthrough, and I think a lot of that has to do with the first time playing it, where they talk about that play and fail kind of thing. Like that's a huge part of the game. Like I feel like that was part of the fun for me. I'll also get this out of the way. I definitely think this is something that everyone should play. Everyone who likes video games, and even people who don't really love video games. Like I think this is a great game for anyone to play. Nicole?
I figured you would really like this game.
Yeah.
I do really like this game.
It has the atmosphere that I generally attribute to things that you really enjoy.
Yes, which is what, dark and scary.
Just bleak, and hopeless.
Lots of gruesome death.
Yep. And bear traps. Can't get Nicole from not dragging around bear traps with her.
Yep, you know me.
Is it just me, or is this the weirdest episode of Bobby's World ever?
Yeah, there is a spider that he's basically just dragging around behind him.
Speaking of Bobby's World, like I always felt like Bobby's World always made me mad as a kid when I watched it. I watched it because I was like, all right, this is entertaining. But clearly someone read Calvin and Hobbes and was like, well, we could probably make a shittier version of this and put it on television.
What's a version that we don't have to pay for? Right? Who's super popular right now? Howie Mandel, the guy who blows the glove over his head? Yeah, we'll bring him on.
Let's do it. I'm sure we probably got like, 3 or 4 seasons in us?
And there is an SNES game for Bobby's World.
Oh boy, is that our first TADPOG?
Oh,
because you know
that'd
that's
be
bad.
Pretty good. Pretty good.
I'm glad you brought up the atmosphere of the game because that is, I think, the defining quality of Limbo.
I remember the first time that you had played it, like you invited me and Josh over, and there's like all of us in the living room, and the lights are all out, and someone's playing it, and we're all just watching intently, and there's like no music, it's just like the squeaky bug sounds, and it's really got a lot of good atmosphere.
And everybody jumps the first time you hear that snap of a bear trap. Because really, you wake up. So I believe that the story is basically a boy and his sister have died, and now they're stuck in purgatory. And the brother is just wants to find his sister and go home. He's scared. He has to maneuver his way through the trials of purgatory that they're putting him through to find his sister. And you wake up because the game is just completely black and white. Mm-hmm. And you wake up in a black and white forest. The first thing you see is a pair of eyes open on like Jack and Lost in the middle of these woods. Mm-hmm. And then, you set up and you just march forward. You can jump just enough to get to your goals. You can drag stuff. You can jump up and climb, and that's it.
Yeah, a lot of the objects in the game are part of elaborate puzzles. Some of the puzzles are elaborate. Some of them are not. Some of them are super simple. But they progress them throughout the game where they get more difficult and more difficult because it feels like it's a good mix of platforming skills and puzzle-solving skills. Like it seems like one of those games that two people could play. Like it's a little dark, but it kind of reminds me of like a game you would play as a kid, and one of you would be really good at platforming and the other one would be really good at like logic puzzles and stuff like that, where you'd kind of like pass the controller back and forth.
Yeah.
Because in this game, it does seem like two distinct split. I mean, there's a split down the middle where it's like, well, this is a platforming section, and then this is like a puzzle solving section. Part of the atmosphere that I love, you said it was black and white, and it's real like smoky and misty, and it's got like a really mysterious feel to it, which is like in blatant contrast to most platformers that we're used to. Because most platformers have taken the Mario route, and they're super bright and colorful and almost like cartoony. But this is cartoony too, but it's more stylized than it is cartoony, I guess. It's stylized, but it like the atmosphere in combination with the entire time I played this game, I feel like it mastered suspense. Like there has been few platformers or 2D side scrollers where I have felt this much suspense before playing it, especially the first time. And it kind of goes back to what I was saying about playing this game the first time is amazing because the way that the sound, there's like really not any music, and if there is, it's really light in the background. Everything's kind of muted, so like the sounds are really crisp. When like you die, it's like there's this just blast where it's like, oh, something just happened, and that build up to that point is extremely exciting. Like there is like one of the first quote unquote bosses is a giant spider.
Oh God, that fucking spider scared the shit out of me.
Yes, yeah, me too, absolutely. And I think they did a wonderful job because there's this scene where you're the little boy, of course, and you have just tricked the spider into snapping 3 of its legs off by using bear traps, which is gruesome and wonderful. And you go past the spider, and then all of a sudden you kind of get stuck in webs on the floor. And then you see that spider, the giant spider, coming for you on top of the ceiling. And he's slowly coming for you. And the whole time you're just struggling to try to get free. And it's just like that suspense, the fact that the spider takes its time to get to you and gives you the time to freak out trying to get out of that. Like, that's what I love about this game the most.
Yeah, because he grabs you, wraps you in webbing, and then you have to, you break free and then hop along until you find a way to, and he's your antagonist for like the rest of that level. So for the next 20 minutes, you see him creeping at you, and you have to do something to outsmart him, and then outsmart him again. It's like, oh, this fucking spider.
I think that's the strongest part of the game, honestly, is that everything with the spider, I think, is the strongest. It almost felt like to me that was like the base of the game, and then they decided to make more game.
Yeah. Because you just played through that whole spider level like right before we started this, and you seemed like you were playing like it had been a long time. It's been at least 3 years maybe since like we sat down and played through this game.
Yeah.
So did you remember any of it?
No.
Good.
No, it's good. I think that talking about suspense, like I think that it does something for me that like games like BioShock can do, where you get to this point where you know something's going to happen. And for me, I'm like, I know something's going to happen. So I'm just going to stand here and like wait for a while until I can like get up my courage to keep going. And it does, because the screen gets dark and like you get to points where all you see are your eyes and you can't see what's in front of you. And so you know that you're going to come out the other side and there's going to be something there. And it's really good at that. It's
because you loathe like shock what kind of startling scares?
jump scares.
Yeah, just like the kind of the cheap scares that just do something.
Do you hate jump scares because they are super effective on you, or you just like hate the idea of them?
Both.
Okay.
I am easily startled.
Okay.
And then I get mad because you startled me.
They bug me a little bit too, like because they're cheap scares, right? Okay.
Because I consider, because it's just because of that trait, that's why I consider you more of like the horror connoisseur, because you like horror that avoids that. And I think when horror avoids that low-hanging fruit of the jump scare, it's just much better anyway.
Oh, yeah.
Like when they evoke that emotion without doing that.
Oh yeah, and that's what like a lot of the times whenever it does get dark and you just see your eyes, like you go slow because you're like, crap, I'm gonna fall into a trap, or I'm gonna come out and there's gonna be an enemy, and then nothing happens.
Yeah.
So it's awesome.
No, it's beautiful.
Because the game eventually evolves into more and more like modern elements as you keep going through it, because then you come off to like a Lost Boys type scenario where there are these kids, all the other humans you see in this game, you're the only one with eyes that light up. So I don't know what I guess that defines the other kids as maybe hellbound, or if they're just like lost there forever. Maybe you still have hope because you have light behind your
Yeah,
eyes.
you have
I'm
purpose.
not sure.
I don't know.
Yeah.
It feels like one of those things where it's like, it was hard for me to differentiate whether or not there was actual meaning there, or if they just wanted you to feel like there was meaning there, or maybe it's just to distinguish you from everybody else.
Yeah, because then as you progress through, then those lost boys are like laying traps for you that you have to overcome, and then you go to like a lumber mill, and eventually it kind of takes on like you go to the remnants of a city, and like you see the city's just dilapidated and falling apart, and you're having to kind of, the deeper you get into it, I don't know, maybe the boy's presence is destroying everything around him, because everything seems stable until he's there, and then he just makes things fall apart. So the city's just falling in around you as you're trying to get through it to your sister, and it just, the difficulty, I like the difficulty pacing, and it's forgiving in the sense that each puzzle is a little lengthy, but it lets you start over like right at that puzzle if you die. So there's no like go way back and then like maybe accidentally like fall in a pit that you
'Cause it will
cleared
happen.
6 other times before, but this time you didn't. And
I feel like it wouldn't work as well if it weren't for like how how close together the saves are, I guess. Like it wouldn't work as well. I'd get super frustrated and quit early.
yeah, no, I totally buy that. And like death is kind of entertaining to see. Even when you die, it's always the boy just like explodes, his head gets ripped off, and entrails, just black entrails fall out of him.
There's a nice squishy sound.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's really like the first maybe 5 times it happens, like it's super startling and disturbing. But then I feel like you get to a point where it's just like it's just kind of, it gets amusing. Where it's just like, oh man, oh, that little boy got just impaled.
It's like watching Wiley play Super Meat Boy.
Oh.
Fuck, you think that was the funniest thing he'd ever seen? Is every time Meat Boy died, I mean, Wiley would just start rolling with laughter. And so and I die like 3 times on a course.
Oh, yeah.
Every time he just fucking loses his shit. Well, this game has like achievements. They're only like 6. I guess they try not to burden you too much with like constant pop-ups and stuff like that about.
I love how they did them.
Yeah.
Because they're not like, all the achievements are based around literal Easter eggs that are hidden in the game. At least as far as I know. I don't know if there might be an Uber achievement or something where you collect all of them. But like, for instance, they're named after where they're hidden. Almost to like give you clues the second time you play through the game. Like you can view the achievements and be like, one of the Easter eggs is called Wrong Way. And in order to get that Easter egg at the very beginning of the game, instead of going right, you just go left and you see a small glowing egg on the ground. And when you run over it, an achievement unlocks, and the achievement is called Wrong Way.
Yeah, because you got one we didn't understand. Like you were in the trees and you heard a.
Yeah, it's like, I guess I stepped on an egg.
Yes.
Yeah.
That makes more sense now.
Yeah.
Okay.
And when you stepped on the egg, nothing came up.
It did, but
Okay.
Since we were on the TV, it was hard to see.
Yeah,
Okay.
you could see a bunch in the corner.
Yeah, because I think there's one early on that's like something about altitude or something like
It's
that.
probably it because it was high up in the trees.
Yeah, and that's the hint that it's hidden somewhere high. So I like that because it's not like, normally I don't like collectathons, and this isn't a collectathon because it's the achievement system. It's just something extra if you want to do it, but it has nothing to do with the story. But they weaved it in a way that's interesting because even the achievements themselves are kind of mysterious. So I like that.
And then I guess spoilers at this point. So I guess if you don't want to know how it ends and talk about the end, just fast forward a little bit. If you guys are okay with me talking about the ending.
Yeah, let's talk about it.
Nicole, are you okay talking about the ending?
Sure.
Or do you want to play through it? And
No, you can tell me about the ending. It's
Okay.
fine. I'll forget tomorrow.
because
so.
once you get through like the sawmill and all the huge razors and everything, when you get to the end and you find your sister, it's this long climb up a hill at the very end, and you finally up and you see like the same position you were in at the beginning of the game. You see your sister lying there, and then whenever you approach her, she's facing away from you, and she sets up. Only her eyes don't open. She's just black, completely black figure like everyone else in the game. And you see the boy just kind of stares at her, and then black screen. So like it's been for naught. Your whole quest has been for naught because she has no purpose. She has no soul. She's damned, I guess.
That's
Or-
one interpretation.
I was gonna say, or you took too long. You're too late.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, okay.
I like the ambiguous ending because like you can take anything from it that you want. Because I remember the first time that I got there, it was kind of one of those things. Like it reminded me of the end of Inception. Like thinking about it now reminds me of the end of Inception, where it's like maybe she does open her eyes. Like when the screen goes black, it kind of left me like, what happens? Like did she open her eyes? What's going on?
Or like it's an endless loop, and now it's just starting over with a different Ooh.
Not used to have one of those.
Yeah. I can't talk with my hands as much. Yeah.
What were you saying? Endless loop?
Like it'd be in the endless loop, like now you've come to the end and you're back to where you started, so it just starts over.
I guess
there is no
that's
end.
Purgatory. So yeah.
It's pretty deep. It's pretty deep.
So this game kind of got me into indie games. It was the first real indie game I ever played on the 360.
Yeah, this was like, it felt like one of the first games in the indie renaissance because like this game came out and then, Super Meat Boy came out sometime around the same time, right?
And Braid came out.
Braid, yeah. Those it just seemed like there was this blitzkrieg of all these indie games that were phenomenal. And ever since then, it's just been kind of like,
made that put XBLA like flag for look what we have.
Yeah, exactly.
What does PSN have? Not shit.
Well, it turned me on to that kind of game too, because it wasn't something that I was used to. I didn't realize it when I was a kid, but when I had a PC way back in the day when I was like 7 years old, all that stuff I was playing, those were indie games. It's just, they weren't called indie games back then. They were just fucking cheap ass games you buy at Walmart. And some of those are really good, but a lot of them weren't. And I feel like that's the same today. Like we're just fortunate enough to be like the distribution method is good enough now to where like we don't have to sift through all the really, really bad independent games. We just kind of get served the really good ones on a silver platter.
Or rely on EGM to kind of tell you what to buy.
Yeah.
What AAA title you should buy and
right.
what you should avoid. I guess we have achievements. So
do you have some? I don't have any prepared.
I didn't write it down. There aren't any I thought was needed to be be
There's something that could be said about playing chicken with that spider because I remember doing that a lot. Because there's a section in the game where he's like going to stab you with one of his legs, and it's just a matter of like I remember like going as far up as I can and being like, I'm pretty sure if I go any further, he'll stab. Oh, yep, okay, and I'm dead.
Like, look, you were going to say something. Achievements? Anything?
No, I don't have achievements. But I'm going to ask you, Dave, if you had played Badlands, which is by the same creators.
No, I haven't. Have you?
Yeah, I have it on my iPad, and it's it's touchscreen based.
Yeah.
So it's like the same ambiance, I guess. It's not black and white, but it's dark, the same thing, and you're like a little hedgehog ball looking creature, and it's all touchscreen. So you just use your finger to guide the hedgehog through. It's not a hedgehog, but it looks like a hedgehog.
For all extents and purposes, it's a hedgehog.
Yeah, it's like it's a balloon with spikes on it and eyes.
Whenever they dissect a hedgehog, it just it flies around the room.
But it works like it's really good because it works well for the touchscreen, like it was designed for it, because you're moving it with your finger. Oh, good Lord. You're moving it with your finger, but it's the same thing like in Limbo. Like you don't quite move how you want to. Mm-hmm. You're kind of limited. So as you're using your finger to move across the screen, like if you move up, it moves up, but not quite as fast. Or
So there's like a delay to it.
Yeah.
Then it feels. Does it feel intentional?
Yes. Oh, okay. Definitely. And it's really good. It's like I said, it's by the same people, but.
So the way you describe it, very much. Because we have to add it. It's a Kirby game. There's a Kirby game like that called Kirby's Canvas Curse, to where it's all about Kirby's permanently in a ball, and you drawing a rainbow line to guide Kirby through all the levels and stuff like that. So we'll have to do that for another Shit Monday sometime.
I would love to play a dark Kirby game. Like I would love for like Nintendo to like give Playdead the Kirby license for one game and just be like, go nuts. Just go. We want to see what you do with Kirby, because the only reason that Kirby isn't 100% disturbing is the fact that it's a total cutesy veneer. Because like when you break down Kirby, that shit is disturbing as fuck.
Yep.
I'm going to eat you, and then I'm going to assume all of your abilities. And then when I'm done with it, doesn't matter. I'm going to eat another dude. And then another dude. And then I'm going to eat another dude. And then I'm going to kill a penguin.
I'm going to retain all other memories and just slowly break down. Are there any other of your kind? There's one, and he's also insane. He has bat wings, and he wears a metal mask everywhere he goes. I do have beards and glasses for this game, though.
Hey, Tyler.
Hey, Dave.
I've had a good time. We've been talking about all kinds of stuff that I really didn't think we were going to talk about. Everyone knows a little bit more about me than maybe I wanted to share, but that's all right.
I feel like that church and hell and purgatory, it leads into limbo.
Yeah. Oh, no, it definitely 100% does. If you were to give this game, I don't know, some kind of beard, maybe. What kind of beard do you think you would give it?
I would give it, it's a beard because it is a shadowy hand that creeps up and chokes you until you die. But it is the special jutsu of the Nara clan. So it's Shikamaru's grasping, choking, black hand shadow jutsu beard.
The dreaded death grip neck beard.
Yeah. Yeah.
Very fitting. I think that's very fitting. If you were to give this game a pair of glasses, though, what kind of glasses do you think you'd give it?
Well, I guess it's got to be glasses from the movie Pitch Black. So it's the
Have to be.
It's the black glasses of Riddick.
Okay.
From the movie Pitch Black.
Are those?
Can't be the Chronicles of Riddick.
Yeah.
That's a different tone.
I haven't seen any of those. Like, I hear those are pretty good. No? Your hesitation speaks volumes.
The Chronicles of Riddick was it's just an action movie.
Because there's like 3 of those now, right? Or is it just 2?
So I've only seen that first one.
Oh, okay.
Because we went to the movies and then MJ Link was like, let's see something shitty. How about Chronicles of Riddick? Okay, let's go.
That was his excuse. I bet he really wanted to see that movie.
He's got pictures of Vin Diesel up all in his room. He's super psyched.
That's like when we're all over here and it's like, it'd be funny if we just started watching porn right now. Right? That'd be pretty funny,
I'm
guys.
not jerking
right?
as a goof right now. Oh, look at me. I'm jerking off this porn for the... Oh, is your dick hard? I'm going to jerk you off. Oh, this is funny. There you go. Beards and glasses.
Yep. That's Limbo. Man, this is an awkward ass episode.
That's okay. See, we got that out of the way, so they'd be like, anybody call us?
Please edit out all my coughs.
No. It's gonna the stinger's just gonna be coughs and you hitting the microphone.
I'm sure some people have called us. I haven't screened any of these, so
All right, roulette.
let's just play these. Here, let me plug my phone in here. Let me turn this channel on.
Because we haven't done many calls on a Monday show in a while.
Yeah, that's true.
They've been strictly for call-in shows.
We've got a text message from 763 who says the following. Fucking Tadpog, space. Why is that you two or any of your guest hosts talked about 2 of my favorite RPGs, Legend of Dragoon and Final Fantasy VII on PlayStation?
Well, Final Fantasy VII we're saving.
Let's just never do it. Let's just never, or let's just dedicate 2 months to Final Fantasy VII. We just get every guest host who's been on the show ever in to we'll just sit down and talk to them about Final Fantasy VII.
It's like Nicole play Final Fantasy VII. No. All right. Thanks for listening, everybody. Next month, maybe the next guest host has played it. We don't know.
What do you think about pollution? I've played Final Fantasy VII. I love Final Fantasy VII. I would love to talk about Final Fantasy VII.
I feel like because I've mentioned it, when we were talking about games, last minute it would be like, fuck, we don't have any time this week. What are we going to do? And each of us has said, Final Fantasy VII, maybe, no, we don't want to give this game short thrift.
Yeah, I don't want to phone in Final Fantasy VII.
Yeah, so we will, but whenever we have time to plan and devote what we think will be a good episode for it.
So give us about 40 years.
Yep.
I think that's what it's going to take. It's going to take us to both be retired in order to be okay, let's sit down. Let's talk about Final Fantasy VII.
Let's talk about Triangle Spocky Head Man. All right. Whenever Square releases an HD remake of Final Fantasy VII, that's when we'll talk about it.
Well, I don't understand why they haven't done that.
I remember it was just the other day. They were coming for PS4 Final Fantasy VII. We were like, oh shit, an HD remake. Is it? No,
Nope.
It's the same thing again.
Yeah, it's a little insulting at this point.
Yep.
I think it's a little insulting.
You want to buy it again? We're kind of in trouble. Buy it again.
Yeah, I'll buy. I'm gonna buy it again. Sure. How much is it this time? I've only paid $200 total for this game.
Yeah. And Legend of Dragoon, I've just never played.
I haven't even heard of that one, honestly.
My brother, it was a favorite of his. I remember when after I'd left the house, I think he had it, and I know no longer has it, so I can't just go over there and get it and play it. But he really enjoyed it. I remember seeing it on his shelf.
It's a PlayStation game.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember
PlayStation
who
1.
did it?
Nope.
Okay.
I know what the box art looks like, and that's about it.
I feel like that's enough for us to go on. We can do an episode.
How we think games will play based on.
Oh my God, I love this idea. That cuts down on like all this prep time. We could just pull up box art and just like look at it. That is an episode. Please, let's do that for another Ship Monday. If anyone out there is listening to this, send us box art for games, and like we'll take like maybe 10 of them, and then we'll just do an episode where we just guess what happens in the game.
What is this probably?
Oh my God, this is the best idea. If we were to do a YouTube channel, I feel like that would be the thing for us to do, where it's like just 15-minute episodes where it's just a photograph of the box art on the screen, and then like you and I just voice over like trying to like figure out what this game is about. That's a $1 million idea.
Nicole, you in on that?
Oh, yeah.
That sounds good. Okay.
Man, I'm all excited now. We should have taken this call at the beginning. Got another text message. This is from 515 who says, "Hey Tadpog, have you ever thought about rating your guest hosts using beards and glasses?"
Have you ever thought about putting your friends in order of how much you like them and singing it to their faces on the show?
That's the beauty of the beards and glasses, right? I mean, there's really no way to determine what's better than another unless you have like the bloody windshield glasses. Those are pretty bad.
That's the first thing I thought of. I was like, well.
Yeah, well, Tyler, that's all up to you, man, because I don't touch the fucking beards and glasses. I've only done it like once, right? So
I think that would be difficult because so many of your guest hosts have beards
feelings
or glasses or both. So
Yeah. Or neither.
Yeah, you have neither.
I have
She has glasses.
Not at the moment.
Well, I have glasses that I own
Somewhere.
that I wear when I feel bad.
We got a voicemail here from 319. Let me just tell you what the first sentence of Google Translate says. Thailand days and whoever all system over 40 years. So let's see.
Tyler and Dave, whoever else has come over for beers. This is Kyle, call from Iowa. Cold as fuck. Hey, my question is do you guys have any impressions that you guys do?
Oh, I've been waiting for you to ask this.
Something more hilarious than a good impression. But what's even more funny is a bad impression. So, if you will, you and, again, whoever else is drinking, can do your best impression on air. Gotta do it. That would be awesome. Take it easy.
Man, you called it the right day, because we got someone here who loves doing impressions, Kyle.
Yeah.
Just loves, like when I think of Nicole, I think of two things, bedazzling and impressions.
It's like I call her the Molly Shannon of my friends.
I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing.
She has costumes and characters. Every time we go over there, she's like, improv show, and she puts on costumes and does all these crazy semi-racist characters.
So, what did he ask us to do? An impression?
If we have any impressions, good or bad.
He said bad ones were better.
Bad ones were. Well, I got a lot of those. I can just do one of those right now.
About all of them I've done on the show.
Yeah, I mean, here, like, I'm the hamburger helper glove. There's a bad impression. You're welcome.
Does the hamburger helper glove even talk?
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, I think he does. With that weird little claymation mouth
He's
thing.
got a
of his.
mouth, right?
Yeah. That's only for eating hamburger helper.
Well, he has a handler. It's like, no, that mouth is not for talking.
Why is their mascot a fucking glove, by the way? Anyone? Can anyone answer?
He's a helping hand. It's hamburger helper.
Oh,
He's a helping hand.
no.
It'd be better if it was a spoon. And the spoon like stirring it to you.
It'd be better if he was a cow with entrails hanging
Listen,
out.
hamburger. it'd be better if you were a pile of meat made animate with googly eyes.
Man, I wish I was alive still.
Enjoy my body, kid.
I can't wait to be in the graveyard of your stomach.
Slorp, slorp, slorp. I did Barney Fife last episode. So if you want to hear me do that, listen to Street Fighter 2 Turbo.
I almost forgot you did that. It was so good. It was so good, I forgot it. Just like Phil's title. It was so good, I forgot it.
Yeah. Sandwich Prince. Sandwich Prince Phil.
Sandwich something. Nicole, you want to lay out an impression on? I did hamburger helper.
Okay. Woohoo. There you go. It's in the same vein. Your hamburger helper, and that was popping fresh.
Feels very
All
different.
right. There you go, Kyle. What do you expect?
That's like the best you're gonna get from me.
That was a pretty big deal. I'm surprised that you actually did it.
It's this half alcoholic apple juice.
Oh yeah, we gave you a drink, so automatically, all right.
Just chug that, and we'll see what happens.
I don't even think what other mascots are there. Let's think of kitchen
man.
Tony the
mascots.
Tiger. Tony the Tiger.
Oh, they're great. That's fine.
That's pretty good. Oh, have I ever said on the show about how I used to play soccer in preschool? And I thought I would be really good at soccer in preschool because I used to eat Frosted Flakes in the morning. So like, this is me as a kid trying to play soccer, just running around a ball, never touching it. Just like running with the people who have the ball and yelling, "I ate Tiger Flakes today!" And then all the kids looking at me like, "This guy's never getting laid." We're all 5, and we realize that this guy is going to have problems in that department.
Oh shit. So thanks, Kyle.
Yeah, dude. Thanks. I hope you feel like you got your money's worth. Remember, you don't pay anything for this. We got a text message here from 951 who says, "Wow, I just got done listening to all 160 episodes over the past 3 or 4 weeks."
Pretty good.
That is really impressive.
So I think Sam totaled it up today, and it was about 168 hours for the content.
I'm a little disappointed. I was hoping we were like the 200 mark. Like that's when I'm gonna feel like we've achieved something. So we got to get on it.
We got to make these episodes
5 hours long. Every episode is a 5-hour log where we just do mascots and look at box art. We look at box art, and then in the voice of Hamburger Helper and Tony the Tiger, we tell you what the game is about for 5 hours. We're really gonna test the loyalty of the TADPOG audience. 951 says, "I locked myself in the church basement and played with my gooter and ate nothing but Germit, but it was all worth it." I love the trifecta in that sense.
Oh man.
So please keep the gun out of my mouth and keep making episodes. Thanks, Tadpog. Drunken phone calls to follow.
Yes.
Tropical Capricorn.
Nice.
That was a feel good text. I like that.
Yeah.
You want to do more? This is fun.
Yeah.
Let's see. Wow, this is a long text. This is from 503, who says, "Hey guys, you never talked about my favorite villain from Super Mario RPG."
Oh, this is
Yeah. How do you pronounce his name?
I say Belome.
Okay, because I say Bellamy. So it's either Bellamy or
Bill?
Belome.
If it looked like Bill Bellamy, that'd be pretty good. There's a big tongue of Bill Bellamy swallows princess.
Otherwise known as, I don't know why I said otherwise weird, otherwise known as the Ultros of the Mushroom Kingdom. It's Final Fantasy VI cut. I like that. I liked him because he was this giant, quirky, four-eyed cat thing with a sense of humor. It was one of the ways in which the game developed its unique style. My favorite mannerism of Bellamy, I'm reading it, we're just going to go with Bellamy, is when he'd eat a character for a few turns and describe the flavor. Princess and Mallow always tasted sweet and delicious, while Mario and Bowser tasted like a buttered turd sandwich. Anywho, given that background info, I wanted to know how you pronounce Bellamy. I wish I'd have read a little earlier. Maybe I should have read through this question before, which you've obviously already gotten to by now. Phil knows this. And how you describe your flavor if you were eaten by him. Hugs and kisses, Filthy. Thank you, sandwich something, Phil.
He posed this question on the football group a while ago. So I know Taryn said that she would taste like bourbon.
Okay. All right. Honest.
I think I would taste like a spicy curry.
Yeah. Okay. Would his mouth catch on fire? He'd start running around?
But not like super hot. It's a little sweet, but it's also hot. It's curry. Yeah, that's what I think.
Nicole, how do you taste?
Out of context. That's a good question.
Tart.
Okay. Like cherry juice?
No, what? No.
Like what's tart?
You were offended? Fuck you, cherry juice. Motherfucker.
I'm trying to think of like what does it mean is good and tart?
I don't like cherries. That's why I was like, oh.
Cranberry juice?
It's a delicacy.
What's with the juices? Is there no other tart food?
That's just what I think when I think it's something tart.
Well, there's Pop-Tarts.
Pop-Tarts.
Have we thought about that? Have we thought about the obvious?
Nicole is a unfrosted Pop-Tarts.
I'm a wild berry Pop-Tart.
A wild berry Pop-Tart.
The best.
Those exist?
Yes,
Yeah.
they're the
Whoa.
best.
It's purple with like the blue design on it.
Yeah. The only Pop-Tart that I can eat without getting heartburn is, well, there's two. I can eat the s'mores.
And the Tums Pop-Tart.
And the Tums, yeah, the one that just crumbled Tums on top of it. I don't know what it is. Like, I might have like a mild berry allergy or like something because like every time I eat like specifically a strawberry Pop-Tart, like I have heartburn for like the next 5 hours. It's just acid coming up, but it's like
Well, sort of that chemical that tastes like strawberry.
Yeah.
You don't like strawberry. It gives you heartburn.
my body's like, no.
Crushed beetle skull from the Amazon rainforest. No.
I guess I'd probably just taste salty, like salty garbage or something like that. That was my nickname my dad gave me when I was 3. Give me a little salty garbage.
Turn the damn game off, you salted piece of garbage.
So, salty garbage. Here we go, salty garbage. I think that what Phil should have asked is, bring in your respective partners and let them answer how you taste.
We could do that. Nicole,
Man.
how would Josh taste, and how does Josh taste?
God. Come on, we all know.
Oh, it's true. That's true. How would Josh taste? Like wet cardboard?
If Bill Bellamy ate Josh, how would you describe the flavor?
Plain yogurt.
A vanilla wafer.
Okay.
Pretty good.
Okay.
That's pretty good.
We gotta
Meg would taste like a communion wafer.
Man, I'm not even. Look, we just had a baby. I need to like keep my wife for like a little bit.
You
So
say,
like
just say ambrosia.
ambrosia. There. Settled. We got a call here from Saint Zach at the helicopter shop. It's a voicemail and Google Translate says transcript not available.
Yeah, that's great.
So that could either be a really good thing or a really bad thing.
God, I hope it's chopper sounds of him just screaming inaudibly.
It is 1 minute and 24 seconds, so buckle up. Here we go.
Hello, TADPOG Nation. Saint Zach here. I just got in an argument with my Siri trying to call because I'm driving through the mountains in Virginia and I really didn't want to total my car. But, yeah, apparently you can spell to Siri and she will eventually call the number that you want to call. Anyway, I'm listening to the board games episode and I think I'm like you, Dave, or at least what you said in the background. I almost puked here in my car, and I had to set my cheeseburger down because I couldn't eat anymore with wine.
I'm gonna pause this for a minute because I'm about to laugh because like the way my brain is putting this together is like I almost had to stop my car, Dave. I'm a lot like you because I stepped on a cheeseburger in my car. I don't know what he's saying.
Whenever I get in your car, it's like I'm rolling through paper wet, just hamburgers, just all hamburgers everywhere.
Like I'm sitting here like, did he ever step in a cheeseburger in my car? Have I ever had a cheeseburger just that I hadn't eaten? Here we go. You want to do the rest? I mean, I don't know.
We went this far.
We're 34 seconds in. All right, here we go.
Talking about the gray stuff. And it made me think, have you ever played Grim Fandango, and what were your thoughts on it? And, like, the specific part of the game it made me think of is whenever your big demon cat friend has drank something. I don't remember what it was. And
Good call, bro.
asked him, like, hey, what do you think about the stuff in the sardine can that they pack in, like the little slimy brownie shit? Like, I still gag.
Quit driving drunk, Zach. Jesus.
Pleasure being on the show. Love you guys. And may Lord bless. Bye-bye.
We love you too, Zach.
Yes.
Whatever you said.
Thank you for calling.
He said some game, and I think
Grim Fandango.
Okay. whenever he started talking about sardines, I'm like, no, I think I heard him say the wrong game because I thought he said Grand Theft Auto.
You know that mission where you pick up sardines and Grand Theft Auto?
Hey, cousin, you got the sardines? I haven't played Grim Fandango. I want to really bad.
Grandmaster Wiley, a while ago when we heard it was coming out, said that we would get copies to play and do for TADPOG. So whenever Grim Fandango drops, I believe he is gifting TADPOG with copies of Grim Fandango for us to play and do. So we will eventually.
Yeah, I really want to play that game, really, really badly, because I like sardines a lot. I love Caesar dressing, so it's great.
Let me talk about an issue I have with Nicole real quick. Nicole, you used to love Caesar salad. Like anywhere we would go, you get a Caesar salad, double dressing, and just Garfield up fucking Caesar salad. And then suddenly I remember we went out and you were like, house salad. I was like, what? You love Caesar salad. Why did you not order a Caesar salad? Nicole, why don't you eat Caesar salad?
So I found out that there was sardines in the dressing.
But you like it.
I will say that I have come around, and since then I have had a few Caesar salads.
You mean there's little pieces of salty trash in the salad?
I think that more than anything, I just felt deceived that I had been eating it for so long and really liked it and had no idea.
I love that. I love that story so much because I think everyone has that moment when they realize what's in there. Because like I remember being a kid and like the joke was always, "We're gonna get some pizza. What do you want on there? Sardines." We're really funny. But when so I never had a sardine ever. And then I remember like...
We're going to get corrected about it, so I'm going to go ahead and correct it now.
Oh, okay.
I think both of you mean anchovies.
Yeah, you're right. I do totally mean anchovies. Those taste exactly the same, right?
Same thing.
They're both small, gross fish.
But I remember they really are the same thing to me. I remember I was in a similar situation. Nicole was like, every time I would go out, I'd be like, Caesar salad. And I remember eating it one time, and I remember like just offhandedly mentioned to Nikki, I was like, man, this stuff is so good. I wonder what's in it. And she's like, sardines. Sardines are in it. Oh, okay. And then she's
like you Heathcliff style, pick up a head and then bones.
Yeah, just kept eating it. And then I stopped eating it when I was like, how many calories is... Oh, my God.
Yeah.
I might as well have eaten 3 Whoppers.
I'm being healthy. I'm eating a salad.
Yeah. No.
Yeah. Fuck. It's so good, though. So thanks, Zach. Oh, Nicole has a request for you, Zach.
I want a microphone. I want a Nicole-specific microphone.
There you go, Zach.
We have these nice new microphones, and she was like,
Yeah, I'm a little sad that I don't have one. So
She's our second... hosted the second most episodes of this podcast.
that's right. Closing in on number 1.
Yeah, Josh is only 3 ahead of you. Tied with John Turley for first place with 18 episodes.
This is fact? We know this now for sure?
I need to show you.
Yeah, you do.
Sam went through and made a bar graph after we mentioned it for everybody's guest hosting.
It made me wonder after I read that if Sam likes the subreddit Data is Beautiful.
Oh,
Probably. He's all about charts and graphs and shit. Like, that is his hobby. He fucking loves it. So anytime I know I need one, I can just suggest it. He's like, fuck yeah, here you go.
So 18?
18 for Josh and John.
And that is the highest? Mm-hmm. Man, that blows my mind. I figured John Turtley had like 30. Like, really? 18.
Then Nicole has 15.
16.
16 now. That's true. And then I think after that, Miller and Meg are tied at 10. And then it dropped. Then a lot of people have like 4.
Yeah.
So it drops after that.
God damn, Sam. I fucking love you, dude. That's awesome that you did that. Really. I need to see this bar graph.
We'll put it in the show notes.
Awesome. Even better. Everyone gets to see it.
It may be on the wiki too. I think they were talking about putting it up there.
Awesome.
So, yeah.
Cool. I mean, I'm low on battery, so we might want to wrap it.
Okay.
Or we run the risk of losing the show.
That sounds good then. Thanks for listening, everybody. You can find the show on iTunes or Stitcher.
Or Stitcher, if you want.
Or the website.
Yeah,
That's also the
always.
place you can
Yeah.
find it. You know what we love?
What's that?
5-star iTunes reviews.
What?
We have 87 right now. 13 more to get to 100. I want the 100 so bad. Oh, I want it so bad. So we try to incentivize that by, 1, the guns stay out of our mouths and on the table.
Yeah.
Once we get to 100, we might even like take the ammunition out of them.
No, let's not go crazy.
Okay.
We'll take one round out.
But we incentivize it by, if you leave a 5-star written review, whatever, if you want to have a game, put it on there. We'll get to it eventually. We'll get to it. I'll say that later. Like today was eventually, we did Lord Mike's 5-star review.
Did you see the hurt look I gave you when you said eventually?
Yeah.
I was like, what'd you do? That's our thing, man. That's like I came over to have sex and you're just jerking off. What are you doing, man? I'm here for the party.
I'll get it back. I'm getting rid of the easy one.
It's not as special.
So 5-star iTunes review for the game you want us to play, or there's a guest host you want for a special episode. 2 more and Nicole will be tied. So if you want to do that one and request her for 2 more episodes.
That's right. Ask for me.
Now, because you've got the kind of the Phoebe thing going on right now, where you still sound like a little bit of a cold, but it's okay. So it's like the sexy cold. So you just
Sexy cold. Sexy cold. Ask for me, Tadpog.
Do you want a sexy cold? I'll give you one. That's for me.
You know there's a sex line for that. You know there's a sex line exclusively for chicks with colds.
But whatever you put, either one of those, or just be nice. We also love that in your 5-star iTunes review. We promise we will get to it. Eventually.
Oh, it feels so good. It's finally that release. That
I was
sweet,
just teasing
sweet
you.
release.
I was just teasing you.
Man, you know I like it. We just edged that out. It makes the eventually a lot bigger. Don't worry, guys. Like Tyler said, we'll be back. We'll be talking about something. I think, who knows? Send us box art, please. I'm not kidding about that. I really think that could be a great, beautiful thing. Everyone's always like, hey, why don't you do a video? That is a video that I am 100% would love to do. I mean, it's just going to be a still photograph, and we're just going to talk over it. There'll be a series of them. Please do that. Please find obscure games and send it in. Like, I'm just 100% serious. That's like the best Christmas present ever, is to give us content. In the meantime, you can always find us on tadpog.com. It's where the show notes live. Who knows what we're going to have there? Probably a phone number you can call to talk to a sexy lady with a cold. Maybe. You can also find us on Facebook.
Maybe we'll reroute all the
I
calls.
said, don't give them my phone number.
You were just talking about how you wish you had more messages.
You don't want calls at like 2:40, 3:15 in the morning like I get.
They can send me Facebook messages, I guess. Sexy Facebook messages.
Skype, you want to give out your Skype info? You can always find us on facebook.com/tadpog. Tyler will normally make a post, and for each episode, that's a good way to let us know how you feel about it. Mm-hmm. Give us some good feedback, or just stroke our egos, keep the guns out of our mouths, whatever you want. We're okay with that too. You can find us at Twitter. We are at @tadpog_podcast. It's cumbersome, I realize. Thank you for everybody who is retweeting and tweeting at us, specifically the episode posts, because that spreads the word. And of course, we want everybody to be exposed to the contagion that is Tadpog. You can call us if you want. Man, I was going over this in the car today. I was driving to get Nikki some medicine, and it was just like, okay, what is our phone number? It is 270-883-2555. It's back. I got it back. The magic is back.
Good job, Harrison Bergeron. You've regained your knowledge.
So call us at that number if you want. Keep it under 3 minutes, if at all possible. We love questions, obviously, because that's something that we can really go off on for 10 minutes, and that's what we love to do. We love Ninja Turtles, Golden Girls, I don't know, pornography. Mm-hmm. Those are 3 things. That is the holy trinity of Tadpog. So give us a call. Leave us a voicemail.
What topics do you want, Nicole?
What topics do I want?
Mm-hmm. So people are going to call in. What do you want them to ask about? Finance?
Definitely finance.
Wow, you're going to have a good laugh.
No, this is the place to call for finance.
That's whenever I come home from work, I want to talk about work. No, I really...
Don't act like that's not like 15% true.
No, I like it whenever people call in with marry, fuck, kill questions or like anything of that nature.
Okay.
Marry, fuck, kill. Those are good.
Yeah,
I
like those too. By the way, totally invest in pepperoni. That's what I've been doing with all my money since I've moved back to Paducah. Just put it all in pepperoni. It's a very niche market, but it's paid back not at all. So yeah, call us. You can also text us to that number, obviously. Then I have to read it, and I may or may not mess it up. So, I mean, just depends on what you're into. That's all I got. I think that's everything.
Thanks for coming on, Nicole.
Thank you for having me.
Number 16.
Let me catch up a little bit.
You were neck and neck with Josh for a while. What happened? Because I know you guys were tied, and then he just pulled ahead.
I don't know what happened.
You started taking like 15 hours of classes on top of 40 hours of work every week.
I have one final tomorrow, and then I am done until January, and then
So done for 2 weeks. Okay.
done for a little bit.
I was like, January. Oh, that's like right around the corner.
Halfway through January, not the beginning.
Oh,
of
okay.
January.
That's pretty good.
But then I only have one more semester, and I'm done.
Nice.
So excited.
If you're anything like me, you'll find something else to
I was gonna
completely fuck your life over.
I'm done until I decide that I need like a second bachelor's,
Right.
or a PhD, or
The difference is you do like things that are going to help you in the future. I'm just like, I don't know. Let's record more.
Here's another podcast. Let's do that.
Let's do it. Fuck it. I'm sure this will pay off real big one day.
You want to do it like we're reading out of the Book of Life?
Oh man, yeah, I'm ready for that big blue extreme bar in the
Like
way
the
forward.
Goku. Fucking Goku's key maneuver Kamehameha just across the Audacity file. Okay. Yeah, that wasn't very good.
Kamehameha.
Kamehameha.
I thought it was
Kamehameha.
Kamehameha. Yeah.
I've heard it like when he says it slowly and he's charging it. It's Kamehameha. Kamehameha. I've heard both.
You're looking at me. The look
I'm
at
looking at you like, come on, it's anime, but you don't know that anime.
No, I don't know. I don't do.
No, I watch good anime. Nope. Kamehameha, whatever, man.
Kamehameha makes it sound like it's some like Hawaiian
Yeah, it
word.
does.
It is. It's like a
is?
Hawaiian god. Yeah.
Okay.
Josh
That
told me.
is
Josh
so
told me that the
weird.
other day. Actually,
Is there like, did they? Dragon Ball just seems so fucking random, man. They're just like, what are we gonna do? I don't know. Hawaiian god. All right.
I just got back from Hawaii. That was a pretty cool place.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty great. Hey, do you know what we're gonna do with the story? I have no idea. Just make them fight for 5 episodes? Yeah, okay, that'll give us enough time. It's like if we made an anime. It's like TADPOG in anime format, or it's just like, I don't know. What are we gonna do? I don't know. It's just fucking.
I'm busy next week. All right, well, why don't we just have him charge up for 10 episodes and then fight for 5? Okay.
I'll call show. I'll call show.
Interview. That's fine. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Interview. Good idea. Hey, at least we haven't had a clip show yet.
Yeah.
That is what always bugged the shit out of me as a kid was like going to like watch the next episode ahead of the class or something, and it's like fucking clip show. Great, fantastic. Fuck you.
What do I even say to lead off? Now I'm totally scrambled.
Book of Life.
You generally say until next time.
Thank you. I was like,
You say Book of Life every time.
what am I saying? So until next time, Tropical Capricorn. You didn't even.
I don't do.
Now do it.
impressions. I definitely don't do God impressions.
No, we're doing that guy at the church trying to be God impressions.
Aves
Brandon Abez.
of Axelay fame.
Everything I own is bedazzled, like my jeans pockets, my hair barrette.
Josh,
Josh.
you bedazzled him. It's fine.
I mean, that's what you sit here and do when we game is bedazzle stuff, right?
Absolutely.
It's bedazzling. I'm always dazzled.